What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about the dating industry or the dating scene as a whole in terms of the United States of America and any surrounding or related or similar uh, regions or cultures or nations. And as far as mating or meeting people and so forth, um, and what I want to talk about is how, um, in my opinion, it's kind of segmented off to a point where the culture is really just based on nightlife, where you're going to some sort of bar or nightclub or party. Um, and if you don't want to do that, you're pretty much down to not much else but networking, hoping you stumble into someone in the daytime, your workplace, and a lot of other facilities or institutions or places that technically it's not really appropriate to meet or date or do anything with the people there. So I think it's in a lot of ways just counterproductive. And it's funny because um, part of me doesn't think that because I'll explain later how with technology we've had a lot more outlets and options to explore that and meet people than we did in the past when we were just farmers and we relied on friends and our network to meet people. So I'm really still impartial on this and still juggling with this thing. I feel like it can definitely be made better, but I can't really complain about it. So I'm siding with both sides of it. But really, I mean, if you think about it, I've talked about this in other videos. Whenever I tell like a person, whether it's a girl or guy, that I don't do the whole party, nightlife, nightclub thing to meet girls, they're like, okay, then what about coffee shops or bookstores or so forth? And they always say this. Like every random person I met who has no hint that I've talked to anyone else about this, oftentimes they'll say something similar. Not all of them. Some of them are more smart. I mean, no, the people who say it aren't dumb people at all. But some people are, I guess, more street smart, or they for whatever reason, some people will say some other stuff like through friends or something else. But it always boggles my mind because I've been to these places, coffee shops, Starbucks, and I'm not gonna lie, partially to meet girls, partially just to test it out, and it's absurd. Okay, if you try anything, it's out of the blue, and unless you execute it very properly, like somewhat formally, or and not like a sleaze, like they can definitely look at it in the wrong way. They can be like, why are you doing this in this facility? I am checking out a book from the library, or I am working out right now. So these recommendations are just bogus in my opinion. And it's like a two-pronged sword. It's like, you should try these out, and then the same people who recommend that get offended when you're at these locations, which is absurd in my opinion. Again, I'm still battling with that other side to the debate or argument where it's like, that's not true. If you were more good looking, everyone would be accepting of you. You'd approach a girl at the gym and she wouldn't be like, how dare you. But who knows about that. That is another thing. And I think more realistically, the answer is that it varies from person to person. Even in the comments of my older videos, you got these people who are saying, how dare you even consider approaching a girl at the gym? She's working out her hardest. And these are possibly the people who would be offended if they were working out at the gym. And then they're the same people who would completely change their minds if the guy of their dreams approached them in the gym. They wouldn't give a crap if they're in their most important set or repetition of their weight or their track on the treadmill. They would drop it all to meet this guy of their dreams. So I'm not gonna lie, and this might offend some of the viewers who were those people. I mean, that's somewhat hypocritical. But again, at the same time, you are not alone in your outlash. So outside this, like, generally, how do people meet people? It's through friends. There's like some study, and there's a diagram in it, and it showed like the percentages of how people met their wife or husband. By the way, I'm not looking for any of this, nor am I complaining. I'm just setting the discussion out there. So no outlash on that. But anyhow, basically, like there's like some huge proportion, which was like 70 to 80%, that was through friends. They met their husband or wife through friends. And this was like a 10-year study, and the results of every year were shown. And then there's like all these other small portions that was like random stuff like online dating. It was a setup. I met them at a bar or nightclub or coffee shop or whatever. And those were like very small percentages, like 10%, 5%, whatever. And the general trend over 10 years was that very subtly, that 80% was going down and the others were going up. And the greatest going up, I believe, was online dating. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong on that point. So if anyone could pull up the study in the comments, go ahead. But despite the decline was so insignificant that it was pretty certain that even in the next 20, 30 years, generally most of them would be meeting people through friends. So now I want to, okay, before I switch on to the other side of the debate, which I will support, yeah, I just want to finish up on all possible areas covered. So you got online dating. Those break off into different websites and facets, paid, unpaid, and so forth. Then you got through friends, then nightlife, and then day life, just stumbling in upon a person. I think I've covered most grounds. Other than coffee shops and so forth, they're just like bumping into someone, or oh yes, another thing is clubs and activities, or doing stuff you enjoy and not really seeking anyone, and then bumping into someone there. That could work for some people. So there's that thing there. I mean, I don't know. Some people meet their boyfriends or so forth through running club. That's actually a real life example. In my opinion, though, I really can't hate on that, because I'm trying to think up of some sort of dissenting thing. For me, it hasn't worked, but that's the only thing. I mean, it just may be that the people there weren't, my sort of people, and that happens a lot. Like, these clubs are usually very small areas, even in these big schools, and just going to them and pursuing your passions, you will probably end up with the same group of 5 or 10 people in that sort of club. And if you're not interested in them, you're just going to be going week after week to those same group of people. And it's surprising, I go to a 20, 30, 40,000 college school, student school, and yeah, those clubs can get pretty small. However, let's get on to the flip side, and let's start with the other side argument, which is that this is all BS and we have a lot more options. And now I side with this in a lot of ways as well. There wasn't online dating or any of that crap, and there are definitely girls. I actually was reading this blog entry which I somehow stumbled upon. I can't remember where. Maybe it was like a post on Facebook that I clicked. It was some blog entry on WordPress. This girl, she was in college, blonde, fairly attractive, not that attractive. Bless her heart though, if she ever sees this. Basically, her blog entry was a story where she signed up on her iPhone for a free online dating app of some sort, and immediately she got like 100 responses from guys, and she was just talking about how she had so many options and she just had to be very rude, well, not rude, but very selective very quickly. And she was like, I know I'm being very superficial here, but what can I do when I have all these tons of guys? It was actually a very interesting story because what she ended up doing was the one guy, after funneling through all that she was into, apparently she ended up flaking out on because he just was too creepy and needy through text. He was saying some creepy stalkerish shit like, um, I will move out of state for you. Maybe you can be my wife, and so forth. Before even meeting this girl in real life or anything. And so, anyhow, that's an example of how maybe it's just me. Some people have a lot of options that they've always had. They've never had the need for it because they literally step into a room and boom, all these guys are interested. I doubt it's ever to that degree though. Maybe it is online, but again, it's online, and that's still an option. Like that was not an option 100 years ago. So one could argue that things are just getting better. Like those who probably died alone didn't or may have a chance nowadays. Because they're adept at using a computer. Okay, that's a shameless stereotype with people who are unattractive using computers. I rescind that. Anyhow, let's see here. Siding with it the other way, I definitely think it's a simple thing, and I'm trying to look at it for the people who have a lot of success naturally without ever having to try or look outside their comfort zone, whether it's through joining a club and meeting someone, or having a huge social circle and then just through friends naturally meeting all these potential options and suitors, to all the things mentioned before. But again, with this group, it's typically they're either fairly popular, they're fairly good looking, they're fairly high social status, or they're in a certain income bracket, or a combination of these, or they are European and white, or they have a certain sort of vibe about them. They pass a certain level of looks or personality or so forth. It's just weird how it works out. I can't really say for sure. I don't know personally, but I know it's not for everyone. And everyone I'm thinking of, and I've met so many people that fall into these categories where they just naturally do it. They fall into these groups. Not all of them. Like there's plenty of people who are nerds or geeks, or maybe not the best looking, who have this done naturally. So okay, I rescind that last statement as well. So, but still, there's a decent amount that don't. And I definitely think, like it or not, it's something to do with looks in a certain extent. So again, there's these two debates going on, and I guess it really does depend. My personal opinion is I kind of feel sorry for those who are naturally in that scenario. And of course, some of them may be sated and some of them may be satisfied. Their potential suitors may satisfy every possible category. And I would say that only really happens for those who are lucky enough to, for whatever reason, whether it's through them being a very good-looking, attractive girl from the moment they were born, to whatever reason, I feel sorry for them in the fact that some of them will always be in this comfort zone and they'll never step out of it. And if when they meet some guy that they think's worth it, they will never have the balls or courage or anything to do anything about it. I mean, there's these stories about it, and again, it's not a huge deal because they have all these options otherwise, and who's to say that guy really is the guy of their dreams, and they can't find someone of fairly equal magnitude, and that's possibly why these attractive girls never really try hard. But for me personally, like, I've kind of had to learn the hard way to jump out of that comfort zone, and it sort of bled through to other areas of my life, which I hope will lead to success. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to jump out of your comfort zone and talk to someone, give them a handshake, tell them honestly what you think, and so forth. In every area of your life, business, so forth, whatever. But I feel sorry for them to that extent, but not sorry enough to the fact that I know that they probably still have a lot of options, and when they walk into a room, or because they have a huge social circle or whatever, they got it good. So that's all I really want to say in a nutshell, and I'll see you guys later.